Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, Sigval here and welcome back to another video. So in this one, we're gonna rank all the characters in the game based on all the game modes. I mean, not really all the game modes, because the thing is, I'm gonna kind of bundle together Arena, Champions Arena, and League Invasions, because the thing is, Arena and Champions Arena are not particularly difficult compared to League Invasions, but what's good in League Invasions is gonna be good in those game modes as well. Yeah, I've never done a tier list like this where I just factor in all the game modes. But I'm gonna do it now, and I don't know for sure how it's gonna go. I wouldn't say I'm the best person to rank stuff for League Invasions, but I'm gonna do my best. But you guys have been asking for a while for a tier list for all the game modes. If you're interested in Raising Soul Rate specific tier list, you can just search for that. I did a tier list in that regard, I think 2 months ago, and it's still accurate. So go ahead and look for that. So yeah, let's get this going. First up, we have Armored Superman. D tier. I'm gonna put things at D tier if they kinda do something. This guy has a reflective shield. Is going to bypass the first special used against him. It's not. I don't know if that's enough to give him D tier. Nah, let's put him at F tier. Like, he doesn't really do much. You're never using this man. He gives some defense to the team. We'll see what else is in D tier, and I'll think about it. Nah, F tier, because I see something that's gonna be in D tier, and this actually does something. So Ace Green Arrow, he does something very specific. His passive is going to lock the power generation of the enemy when he tags out, and he also has power drain on the special one. So if you need to take control of the enemy's power generation for whatever reason, which is a situation that happens extremely rarely, you can use this guy. There's also artifacts that fill the role of this guy, so if you have any of those artifacts, it no longer really matters. But yeah, he does something. Atrocitus, I'm gonna put Atrocitus either B tier or C tier. Like, the thing is, this guy is not gonna do much in raids and soul raids. But he's gonna be amazing in League Invasions, especially in defensive teams, because he's gonna give those buffs on tag. And I think I'm gonna drop him at C tier. I'm gonna drop him at C tier. He gives Reflect. That's the main thing that he does. He does some lethal and some power generation, but Reflect Shield is something that's very annoying to deal with in League Invasion when this guy is in a defensive team. But at the same time, he is nothing compared to. Let's just jump to this guy. So you have Nightmare Batman. Nightmare Batman is going to be insane in defensive teams in League Invasions, and Atrocitus is going to be good, but it's more like it's good because you don't really have that much better options in some situations depending on the requirements of specific towers. So he's gonna be dropped at C tier, I think. Also, do I give? Yeah, I'm gonna give him A tier. Like, every single time you can't have a full legendary team and you can have a tech gold character, you're gonna see Nightmare Batman in that team in League Invasions. That's mainly because of the passive that gives him reflection against all basic hits. It's actually insane. Also, if you class ascend him and he power steals with crits, it's even better. So, Nightmare Batman easily A tier for the defensive team performance in League Invasions. Arkham Knight Batman, I feel like A tier. Like, the thing with this man is he's amazing in Arena and Champions Arena because he gives you power generation when you kill a target and he kills you. But in League Invasions, you're more like fighting bosses. In a lot of the fights, you're kind of expected to like kill a character, and the other teammates are gonna kill more characters. And if you're strong enough to kill all 3 characters with the team, then that thing is not gonna be too relevant. He also buffs Batman the Drowned because he buffs hazard dot damage. But the thing is, John Green Lantern does the same thing, and this guy is a lot easier to get than this guy, and they do the same thing for Batman the Drowned. So I'm not really gonna give him that many points for that, I think. Where do we put John? Also B tier? Like, this guy is gonna be a bit better for Arena and Champions right now, while this guy is gonna be good for some soul raid situations, because what effectively happens is his passive also denies the hazard secondary effect. So let's say some hazards on the ground are gonna power drain you, put this guy in the team, they no longer power drain you. It's simple. Next up, we got Silver Wonder Woman. It's gonna be at B tier. A Bane. Bane. Where do you put Bane? Also, I think I'm gonna give a trust to B tier for his defensive performance in League Invasions. Bane, Silver Bane. Um, C tier, I think. The thing is, he gives some damage on basic hits, and there's a lot of characters that benefit from damage from basic hits. But those characters have better options than Bane. But at the same time, if you don't have that better option, or if you've used that better option with something else, you can drop a Bane in there. You can put a Bane with Raven plus Raiden, you can put a Bane in a Manta team, you can put a Bane with Blue Beetle, you can put a Bane even with Batman and John because it synergizes a little bit with her passive somehow. So yeah, Bane is actually pretty nice. Sorry if the cat's gonna run like crazy in the house. I can't do much about that. Black Adam. Where do I put Black Adam? I feel like I'm a bit biased about this character specifically. The thing that's really going for him is that he can spam Puppet very fast with the third special, so that's pretty good in League Invasions. He also power steals when he does that, so you're keeping the enemy at low power at all times, though it's kind of irrelevant if you're also disabling their specials and blinding them. I don't know, man. I'm gonna give him C tier, though please let me know in the comments if you think I'm overrating this. Next up, Atlantean Armor Aquaman, also C tier. This guy is amazing for new players in Arena, Champions Arena, stuff like that, because he's got Armor Pierce on Special 1, Power Drain on Special 2, and heals your entire team. For League Invasions, he's too fragile to really pull in work with the healing that much. You just got better options in League Invasions than him. But again, let me know if I'm wrong about that. Batman Ninja Batman. I'm gonna put a whole Batman Ninja team at S tier. Those and Grodd. Let me explain a little bit why those two are in the A tier. They are in the A tier mainly for the League Invasion performance. This is one of the best teams, easily top 5 teams, attacking teams in League Invasions, because they do a bunch of stuff. Reduce the defense of the enemy. They are going to do a lot of damage because of the lethal damage they get. They got immortality because of Bit Ninja Catwoman. They get power generation because of Grodd. They are just great, and they're fine in soul rates for the free to play side of things and for the pay to win side of things. But keep in mind they're better for the pay to win side of things because you get access to stuff like Beta Club. Batman Batman. Okay, let's. I don't know if A tier or S tier, because like what he this guy really does well is deal damage with Beta Club. You put Robin in there, you put Ninja Catwoman in there. No, not Ninja Catwoman. You put Robin in there, you put him in there, and you put the Puppet character. You can put Zatanna for a lot of damage, but you can also put Lord Joker and spam Puppet with Lord Joker, and that's gonna deal a lot of damage. But he is not really doing much in League Invasions. And if you're putting a Zatanna in there, at that point, every single character in the Batman Ninja team becomes able to do 2 billion damage with Beta Club. So I hope you understand my reasoning here. If this was a Soul Raid specific tier list, this would look more like this, probably. But it's not. We're accounting for all the game modes. But this guy, you can also use him for the free-to-play side of things with Puppet, with spamming Special 1, but I think Lord Joker is better at that. Yeah, let's move on. Gold Robin, F tier. Peep starts with a bit more combo than other characters. Building combo is not that relevant. It's a bad thing. You don't really care about it. Um, Batman. Where do we put Batman? I really don't know. I'm expecting this thing to perform pretty well in League Invasions. I don't know how well. I really don't know how well because they do a lot of things. Um, let's put them like this maybe. So they get power generation, they get healing, they blind the enemy. I'm really thinking they do well in League Invasions. That this is where my limited League Invasions knowledge kind of hurts. Because I don't know for sure, but I imagine they're pretty good there. But in Raids and Stories, they're absolute garbage. Um, Gold Captain Cold does nothing. A Dark Side S, or do we give him A tier? Do we put S tier like the characters that are kind of good in both game modes? Nah, let's put A tier. Because with Nightmare Batman, you're gonna see him in every single team that can't have all legendary characters. But this guy, you're gonna see him in every single team that can have legendary characters. If you're able to put legendary characters, there's gonna be a dark side. This guy is the best character in the entire game at defending in League Invasions because of the shield that he gives doesn't really come in handy because you don't deal damage in chunks that are that big usually. But the bombardments are real big trouble because they can one-shot your character, and he can also randomly summon parademons. He's got one of the most annoying AIs to fight against because he's gonna do a full combo and you use a special 2 and then be able to chain another combo from doing that. So yeah, I feel like Darkseid is definitely S tier for the outstanding performance in defensive things in League Invasions. This guy is a menace, and you're gonna see him every single place he can be put. Dark Supergirl, garbage, doesn't really do anything. Outdated tag and mechanic, outdated passive. Entangling Poison Ivy. Okay, let me fish for all the League of Anarchy. Anybody see? Oh, okay, there's Last of Joker. So I'm gonna put Last of Joker slightly lower than them because he's literally Harley, but a little bit of a worse version of her because you have to have EPI in the team. EPI is probably the strongest League of Anarchy member because without her, the League of Anarchy team doesn't exist. And Harley is gonna give you 300% damage against stun targets. This guy is gonna slightly increase your dot damage, but that doesn't even come close to what they do. And they are just great. They are amazing in all the game modes and especially in soul raids. And Last of Joker is literally Harley, but worse. So I'm gonna put him at 8 here. There's some specific fights where you'd rather have this guy, and in Arena, I guess, you can get through fights faster because he gets damage buffs as characters die, but he's not that big of a deal. Firestorm. Nah, he's not worth sitting on the same tier with Ace Green Arrow. I'm sorry. He does something. There were, I think, 3 instances in my life where I had used Firestorm, and they were a long time ago because his passive gives some dot resistance. So if you're looking for some dot resistance, which you don't have on the build, you can just put this man there and you have some dot resistance. But he's garbage. Blue Beetle S tier. With pay to win artifacts, he can eventually get, though it's gonna be a little bit of a process to get there, but it's gonna get to 2 billion damage in soul raids. I mean, if you haven't class ascended fully maxed out, which is too much of an ask for basically anybody, he's probably going to be able to do that possibly with free-to-play artifacts. But where this man shine is being, again, one of the top 5 teams in League Invasions, he's absolutely insane because he gets untargetable from the special 2. I mean, there's still ways to mess that up, obviously, but yeah, he's amazing. Flora Poison Ivy, I'm gonna put her in the B tier. She does something, okay? She's got an Armor Pierce, Map Wide Special 2, which is gonna be pretty decent in some arena, Champions Arena, maybe even League Invasions if we're stretching it that far situations, but I can't justify more than D tier, but she's got a very good special. Batman Harley F tier. She doesn't do anything. She has the passive that gives you some attack for Batman Ninja characters just by having her in the roster, but the amount that she gives is so low that it's irrelevant. I'm not gonna rate her based on that. Batman Ninja Lord Joker, A tier. Eventually, with a lot of struggle and a lot of effort, he might be able to get to doing 2 billion damage in soul rates. And that's about it, and that's good enough for A tier. And he's gonna be the way you're probably gonna play your Batman Ninja team if you're free to play. You're gonna go and you don't get lucky with any artifact drops. You're gonna go Lord Joker, Robin, maybe Grodd, maybe Classic Wonder. When you activate Puppet on Joker, just spam the third special. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Hellboy, D tier, I guess. I don't know. Again, this is one of those that I might be wrong about. He heals from dot damage, though I don't think that's too useful. He just heals from dot damage. That's all he does. He's got an armor pierce third special. He's trying. Okay, he's doing something. Unlike those characters over here. Horrific Scarecrow again, kinda doing something, making the enemy special cost a bit more, decreasing their attack by a little bit. Whatever. Um, No, I can't give him S tier only for the defensive efficiency in the League Invasions. But again, this is a very strong character in League Invasions, obviously, for defensive teams because he's got a reflective shield and also he's gonna tag in to interrupt your specials. Not every single time he's got a cooldown on it, but when you try to do a special, this man tags in, deals a lot of damage to you, and stops the special that you were gonna have. But if I was to choose between fighting a dark side and fighting this dudes, I think I would rather fight this dude than dark sides. And he's not as commonly seen in defensive teams as Darkseid, but he's extremely strong in defensive teams in League Invasions. Is this Silver? No, this is not Silver Catwoman because Silver Catwoman, funny enough, we got something to talk about there. Normal Catwoman, Master Chief Catwoman, F tier. She gives you more gold from the operations. Okay, so if you yourself value that more, feel free, my dude, to give her a higher tier. Multiverse Captain Colds gives armor pierce immunity to all the multiverse characters just by being in your roster, and that can come in handy sometimes. But they okay, let's give him D tier maybe for that. I don't know, bro. We don't know about this one. I don't know if armor pierce immunity for the whole multiverse team just by being in the roster is worth anything more than F tier. But again, he at least does something that's worth mentioning. Nightwing, nah, I'm probably biased about this character. Or maybe D tier. He power generates when he blocks and he's got a fun kit to use. I'm gonna give him D tier, you guys. Let me know in the comments if I overrated him. I like the character, but he's garbage. I just can't decide how garbage. Predator Batman, also probably D tier. Like this guy used to be actually a lot better, or I was overrating him in the past, but all he does is he does some dot damage on tagging if you're in Arena and Champions Arena. He disables specials on special 1, 2, and he's got a little bit of a stun on the special 2. He used to be used a lot in the past as a stun setup for League of Anarchy, but you don't really use the League of Anarchy anymore like that. You don't tag this man to stun and then tag Harley, and I haven't done that myself at least in a long time, because now that we get both Zatanna and Girl of Steel Supergirl, I can use Zatanna someplace else. I don't have to decide between League of Anarchy and someplace else, and I can just use Girl of Steel Supergirl. Since Girl of Steel Supergirl came out, you don't really play the League of Anarchy with that style of gameplay. Powered Supergirl, absolute garbage, doesn't do anything. Raiden, it's weird. This is kind of weird with Raven because he can do 2 billion damage easily with Raven with Twin Blade, and he's possibly the best or most convenient character to use with Raven in that way. But like, there's in this image over here, there's probably at least 10 characters that can do 2 billion damage with Raven and Twin Blade equipped. So it's not like that's a very specifically good thing about him. A lot of characters can do it. He's the most convenient to do it. Though I guess he also does 2 billion damage, though it's a bit harder to get there with the Mortal Kombat team. Nah, let's just give him 8 here. Let's just give him 8 here. Let's just try to have the S tier a little bit more selective, but just know. Also, they're not in any particular order. If I was to do that too, that would be a little bit of a struggle. Grids. Gotta put him at C tier. He's fine. I've seen him once or twice in defensive teams in League Invasions, I guess. He's getting a shield if you deal too much damage to him with basic hits, and he disables the passive of enemy tech characters. This guy was introduced to counter the Just League team when they were put in the game, so yeah, I don't know. Let me know if C tier is a bit too high. Maybe D tier. It's a very, very specific use, and don't see him often. A Manta. Gotta give him A tier. I feel like he deserves it. He's doing a lot, okay? He's really doing a lot. Like, he is the best support character for Beast Boy in Raising Stories because he enables you to instantly activate puppets. He can do 2 billion damage with Brainiac and Beta Club. He can be annoying in defensive teams in League Invasions. He's not a must-have like some of the other characters that are in this over here, but he's definitely annoying in League Invasions defensive teams because he's gonna make legendary characters do dot damage to you. He's like doing a lot. If I was to rate him on any of the things that he does, he would be B tier. But rating him on the fact that he does a lot of things that are B tier, I feel like we can add those up and maybe give him a little bit of an A tier. Though again, I might be overrating him a bit. Just like Batman, D tier. He does something, I guess. He gives shield for the Just League teammates against the first special that's used against them. So I guess if you're using them in League Invasions, why would you use them in League Invasions? I don't know, man. Let's just give him D tier. He does something, okay? This is the it does something tier. Server Banshee. Where do we put her? A tier. A tier. I feel like A tier. Server Banshee can eventually get to 2 billion damage, though it's a bit sketchy because you need a Martian Manhunter for that. Then the higher star rating the Martian Manhunter is, the better because you're gonna get those negative effects from puppets, which are gonna last longer. But you need to max out passive stat artifacts to get there. Yeah, I feel like she's definitely worth it. If we have Lord Joker in A tier, we might as well put her in A tier. I feel like this is fine. But it's gonna take you some time to get to 2 billion damage with her as a damage dealer. And even when you get there, you might not get it every single time. But she's also good in League Invasions because she has got the special 2 that tags out characters. And sometimes this can be very important to choose who you're fighting. Let's say you're up against a Manta and he's got the Dark Side teammate. You want to tag Manta out to get to Dark Side so the bombardments no longer happen. So I feel like 8 years fine. I don't know which white canary it is, but it doesn't matter because they're both going in the S tier. They don't really do anything. Um, there's gonna be a very weird pattern with some silver characters. The thing is, there's silver towers in League Invasions, and you need to attack them with silver characters. So silver characters, except for with two exceptions, Bane and Doctor Fate. Except for those two, none of them would make it beyond D tier. However, because you can't use anything but silver characters to attack those specific things, which is why this is one of the main reasons I kind of was a bit against to make a tier list for all game modes, because what I'm gonna do is probably put Silver Joker at B tier, and where's Catwoman? But yeah, Silver Catwoman is also probably gonna be B tier. They are garbage in every single situation in the game, except for dealing damage against the Silver Outpost. You put Puppet on them, those two are gonna use the special one, and this guy's gonna use the special two, and you're gonna deal damage that way. The problem is we don't have good damage dealers for silver characters, and what you're doing is you're scraping the barrel, and while scraping the barrel, this is what comes out, sadly. And they're gonna be over here. Hold on. I really don't want to mislead people with this. Bump this up. There you go. They hit Silver Outpost. There you go. Now I can sleep better at night. Okay. But this is kind of how I would rank them in terms of their usefulness, somewhere between B tier and C tier, because they're not good at what they're doing, but you don't have other options. You simply don't. And I guess Batman, for the same reason, is gonna be, I don't even know where this is gonna be. Here, I guess. I guess worse than them. Now let's just give him D tier. But those three are pretty good because they deal dot damage also on the thing that they spam with puppets. And I've seen a bunch of silver characters used as damage dealers in this way. I've also seen Flash used that way. Okay, let's just drop everything that I've seen used as a silver damage dealer. But just know this is specifically for hitting silver outposts. If you were anywhere in the game except for that, they would be garbage. Um, then we have the Just League team. Cyborg's bad. You're not gonna. The Cyborg enables the Just League team to be damage dealers, but he does a pretty bad job at it. Like when they released a ton of years ago, when they released, they were some of the most broken cards in the game. But since then, we get so much more powerful stuff. So if you're putting Cyborg in there, it means you're trying to deal damage with them, which means they are at best a budget team. However, Flash is gonna be B tier because he is a pretty good support character for a bunch of teams. Mortal Kombat team, sometimes for League of Anarchy team, though a lot more rarely. Sometimes for Manta. Yeah, you can do a bunch of stuff. Adding one fast attack hit to characters is actually pretty strong. Deadshot doesn't do anything, though. Again, for every single silver character, you can probably just. You know what? I'm just gonna stick with those three over here, and I'm just gonna treat every single other character as a flavor choice, because kind of any silver character can do well against a silver outpost with puppet, but those three kind of have something going for them, which is some dot damage. Deathstroke. Oh boy, this is a complicated one. I'm gonna give him B tier. Thing is, he doesn't do anything in any place except for soul rates and league rates. And in soul rates and league rates, he's amazing for new players because with no gears, 3 stars, and the Norse Noble artifact, which is free, you can do 1.4 billion damage. However, fights are not gonna start with that much health in the first place. It requires peak gameplay to get to that point, which you're probably not gonna have for a while. He just does percentage health damage, and if you know very well how to use him, you're gonna do a lot of damage with him. But the problem is, by the time you're getting to that point in terms of your gameplay where you can make full use of him, you're probably maybe no longer gonna use him. I'm no longer using him on my main account because I got all the teams that one shot, but I guess until you get to that point, you can use him. But he does not really exist much in teams that do 2 billion damage. I mean, you can put him with Mr. Freeze and that might happen, but that's not really because of him. He just does some percentage damage. And sometimes he does a lot of percentage damage, but that's all. But again, for a new player, if this was like new player character tier list, he would be S tier, my dudes. But nah, B tier is good enough for him, I guess. Multiverse Supergirl. Let me drop this a bit. Yeah, okay, now I feel a bit better. I'm gonna put her at C tier. Or do we? Do we put her higher? This is a complicated one yet again because she doesn't really do anything in league rates or soul rates, but what she does is it halves the damage that the multiverse team is taking if they're below 50% health. It literally halves the damage they're taking, but you might get one shot and not really benefit from that. And you might activate Puppet with Multiverse Armor Supergirl, and not really care about that. You might also have a class ascending Multiverse Armor Supergirl and have immunity every single time you cast a special, so I'm gonna just leave her there. Multiverse Armor Supergirl S tier. She's garbage in raids and soul raids. I'm really thinking about this one because she's so good at attacking league invasions, man. She's so good at attacking league invasions. Because I'm like, do I give S tier to characters that are very good at something but garbage at all the other things? But I already put Darkseid in there. Yeah, I'm just gonna drop her here. Okay, what else do we have? Where's Flash? I might as well put Flash in there somewhere. Like Multiverse Flash do. Oh, okay, there he is. Gonna give him A tier or B tier. The thing is, he supports. He's the support that you're gonna be in. You're gonna see with Multiverse Summer Supergirl in 90% of the cases. He's gonna be there because he lowers the cost of the specials for her, and he gives her some crit chance and crit damage. But that crit chance and crit damage doesn't really bypass the damage cap, so all you're doing is getting a little bit more attack on the gears. And if you're just to put some crit chance and crit damage on the gears, you wouldn't necessarily need Flash. He's there because he's convenient, but he's not really contributing like that much to the team, if that makes any sense. But he's contributing enough to the point where I'm gonna put him at B tier. Hope I made myself understood. He's Green Arrow, D tier. He can help Multiverse Armored Circle trigger Puppet faster if you're into that, because he gives you some dot damage every single time you do a special, which is a garbage value for dot damage. Let me make that clear. But at the same time, it's a negative effect, which is pretty good. Worm F tier, garbage character. I don't know who made this. They should be fired, in my opinion. But yeah, Supergirl. I don't know, man. I really don't know. Like I've given every single tier I do, I just give her lower and lower rating. The thing is, she reduces the power cost by 2 power bars for every single team in the game, and there's no character that doesn't love that. The only thing is, there's not many characters that really need that anymore. I guess I'm gonna give her C tier, honestly. When was the last time you used Multiverse Supergirl? I'm talking about people who got like though in Lake Invasions helps you trigger Puppet easier. I don't know, man. I'm just gonna give her B tier. Let me know if you disagree with this. I haven't used her in ages, and the fact that there's a counterpart to her who does the same thing, but a little bit better because it reduces the defense of the enemy. And also, you're gonna see in every single silver outpost is Dr. Fate here. Do I give him S tier? I mean, with the same logic as Darkseid, yes, I'm giving him S tier. This is why I didn't want to do all the game modes at the same time, because it gets really confusing. And also, since we're here anyway, we might as well do this and give S tier to Silver Superman as well. See? See how weird it looks? Putting in the same tier with Harley, Silver Superman, and Dr. Fate, but every single Silver Outpost you're going to fight, you're gonna see those guys. But at the same time, there's the argument to be made that they're not there because they're that great. They're there because you don't have that many options. Yeah, I think A tier is the safer option. It's the I'm gonna get less hate in the comments option. Let's just give them A tier, but you're gonna see and find them in every single server outpost. Raven S tier. She can buff a huge numbers of characters in the game, getting them to 2 billion damage. And I've seen some team setups in League Invasions with her, which are pretty decent. She's fine. Scorpion. Where did we put Raiden? We put Raiden at A tier. I'm gonna put Scorpion at B tier. Because if I was to rank this only based on the Mortal Kombat team, it would be B tier. But I'm putting Raiden higher because I'm also ranking him on the synergy with Raven and Twinblade. Because unless you got Constantine, that's the best candidate to use with Raven and Twinblade. I hope that makes sense. And you got a pretty powerful thing you can do with this team, which is get Scorpion killed while the enemy's sitting on the third special, and you get a little bit of a permanent hazard in there. And you don't have to tag in and out and do that annoying gameplay, but that can fail miserably a bunch of times. Let me know if you think Scorpion should have been higher. But yeah, I feel like we need to make a little bit of a difference between those two. Silver Cyborg. It's fine when hitting the silver outpost because you can use him as a tank because he regenerates health when he's out of combat. It's fine. Though I'm gonna put him at D tier. Because if you're really relying on that, it means that you are having a hard time triggering Puppet, which means the fight is probably already over. Kimplant Sakuman. A tier. Does some percentage hull damage. Can be used with... Though... Is even A tier? He can use Pius with Nora Snowglobe. He's basically doing what Deathstroke does, but a little bit worse, and what Raven does with Raven, but a little bit worse. And he can also be used with Zatanna, with Puppets, and get 2 billion damage with him without Raven while free to play. So there's definitely options. Yeah, A tier I think is fine. Collector of Words Superman S tier. Again, a character that's, if you're able to put a tech legendary character in that team, he is going to be there in League Invasions, like it or not. And he's got immunity to damage on special too, which is very fun to play against. Mythic Wonder Woman does something, I guess. She gets a little bit of a damage buff whenever a character dies, but it's gonna be a temporary one, and she gets armor pierce on the special one. So that's something, I guess. Primal Swamp Thing, F tier garbage. Headless Girl of Steel Supergirl. I'm gonna put her at B tier. Where's Zatanna? Because I want to make a little bit of a comparison between them. I think Zatanna is A tier. Like, both of them give damage buffs, since you would think that, oh, Girl of Steel Supergirl gives more damage buff. She goes all the way to 400%. Zatanna only goes to 300%. Yeah, but Zatanna does a bunch of things in addition to that. She is able to get the stacks faster. She's able to do some percentage hell damage, and she's able to equip puppets, which buffs a lot of the teams that can be paired with her, either League of Anarchy or Beta Club teams. Every single time I'm not using Zatanna with League of Anarchy is not because Girl of Steel Supergirl is better, it's because I might need Zatanna somewhere else. Golden Armor Wonder Woman. She does something. She pulls some characters in and out of the fight, which might be useful for League Invasions for manipulating the fight, I guess. But she's not that great. Constantine. Though he also removes shields, which is pretty decent in League Invasions. I don't know, bro. I feel like C tier. The thing is, he does what Raiden does, but for a lot more money, because you need to unlock him. You need his gears. And he doesn't really do much outside of Raven Twin Blade team. But Sigval, what if you want to use Raiden with some other team, where you with a Mortal Kombat team, then use King with Raven? He's my favorite thing to use with Raven. I'm using him every single time I want to use something with Raven and Twin Blade, but at the same time, he's the most expensive option for that, and he doesn't really bring additional stuff to the fight to justify the cost. You're just gonna one shot. Martian Manhunter. Feel like it's worth A tier. He generates some health when he's out of the fight. He increases the duration of negative effects, which is great for Puppet, and Puppet is an amazing artifact in all game modes, in League Invasion and in Soul Raids too, and enables a lot of Puppet teams to do some stuff that they wouldn't be able to do without him, like Server Banshee Puppet team can't do 2 billion damage without him. Beast Boy team doesn't really need him because it's strong enough already, but it's much stronger with him. Multiverse White Canary, I'm gonna put her at, honestly, F tier. I was gonna say she does something, but she barely does anything. Oh boy, Black Adam, A tier, S tier. He is gonna be in some teams in Soul Raids. And I'm gonna let's rank all the Flawed Justice team. I think it's probably looking something like this, because those guys together, if you don't have any pay to win artifacts, they're gonna struggle to do 2 billion damage. Probably with a very high star rating Peacemaker, everybody maxed out and stuff like that, you're probably gonna get there, but it's not gonna be pleasant to get there. It's gonna take some time. 99% of people won't get there. For pay to win side of things, easy 2 billion damage with Beta Club if you have a 4-star Peacemaker. But this man, on top of that, adds 2 negative effects, which enables easy puppet activation for any team you put him in, and you're not going to be sorry for putting him in there because he also does percentage hell damage, and he's one of the fastest in the game at doing that, so you're not going to waste a lot of the time of the fight to do that. And on top of everything else, which is kind of the most important thing, is getting unhittable on the third special, which makes him a monster in attack themes in League Invasions. Gold Blue Beetle, it's garbage. I'm sorry. Okay, if I give Nightwing D tier, I'm gonna give him D tier because they're kind of similar. Like they try to do kind of everything but don't really do anything. Hold on, let me clear the D tier a little bit. Let's do a little bit of a cleanup here. Yeah, I think it looks a little bit better now. The I'm gonna put them at the bottom here because they just annoy me. They just annoy me being there. I feel like those guys mess with the whole tier list. But just no. Let me write something else. Okay, now I feel even better. They're definitely not below F tier, but like they're just pissing me off being in the middle there and messing with the whole tier list for one specific thing they do, and they're not even good at. They're just the only ones. Multiverse Batman garbage. Batman the Drowned and Robin King. Batman Drowned S tier, one of the best damage dealers in the game. Struggles a bit in League Invasions, but she's not useless. And in every single raid type mode, she is arguably the best damage dealer in the game and can fight almost every single fight in the game. She's amazing. Robin King is going to be A tier. She enables Batman Underground. She makes your life 10 times easier when using Batman Underground, but you don't have to have him. It's not a League of Anarchy situation. If you don't have Robin King, she still functions. If you have Robin King, she is a bit better. Classic Wonder Woman. A tier. A bit less useful for tech characters to use as a support since the class update, because now they get some crit damage from their class passive. But there's no character in the game that doesn't benefit from crit damage. As I said with Power Girl, that there's no character in the game that doesn't benefit from power burst. The difference is they benefit from it, but they don't really need it. But here, crit damage, oh boy, the only time you don't want crit damage is when you have a team that requires three specific characters, where all of them must be present, or a team that has Dark Metal cards equipped, or a team that already has the crit damage, and that's, yeah. Also, Hawkman, I feel like I should drop him to B tier. The thing is, he doesn't really do that much in theory. You're kind of using him as the damage dealer when you're using Beta Club with that team, but you could also put the Beta Club on Black Adam, and it would be fine for the most part. He's a bit better at using it though. Let's not B tier's fine. You want him in there because he makes the peace stacks from Peacemaker faster. Let's. Do I feel better if I do this? Not really. Yeah, let's leave Peacemaker there. Cheetah. Absolute garbage. Mr. Freeze. If you have Beta Club, it's easily S tier. But it's easily S tier for raids and soul raids, but I don't know, man. He can get to 2 billion damage with puppets. It's yet again gonna be a little bit of a struggle, but you can get there. And he's a bit hard to get because he's a legendary. But if you class ascend him and get the crit damage from there, yeah, let's just give Mr. Freeze S tier. I think he deserves it. Red Hood is gonna be C tier. He does something. He extends the duration of the fight. You might need that. And even if you think you don't need that, you got two characters. You don't know what to put for a third support character. You got yourself 30 seconds more of a fight. You're welcome. Petal Laughs, I feel like C tier. It's not like specifically great. Specifically great. You can get some setups with Beta Club, though you're kind of pushing it. But you can get 2 billion damage with him. Though you need to waste the Brainiac and the Robin King for that. And even then, it's going to be a little bit of an annoying process to get that. It's like in League Evasions, he's got some stuff that works pretty well, but if you mess up once, your whole team is dead, which is kind of relevant for every single team. I don't know, I'm gonna leave him at. Although he also does some percentage damage. Okay, let's give him B tier. Let's give him B tier. A Brainiac. I'm gonna give him A tier. He enables a lot of damage dealers that are legendary characters and can use Bait Club. He can enable Manta, he can enable Mr. Freeze. Can even use him in some Beast Boy teams, I guess. I really don't know about this. Really don't know about the Mr. Freeze in S tier. Let's leave him there. Beast Boy also S tier. He's one of the characters that can actually get to doing 2 billion damage with the least requirements in the game. While Deathstroke is a character that's like, oh, you just need no gears and North Snoggleman, you can get 1.4 billion damage with perfect gameplay. You only need this guy with 1 year, proper talents, obviously, good builds, Puppet of Zatanna, Brainiac, not Brainiac, Manta, or you're gonna have a bit of more annoying time, but even without Manta, he only needs 1 gear and 3 stars and the free-to-play artifact, and if you have enough passive stats, which you're probably gonna have by the time you get to fight 2 billion health fights, he's gonna do 2 billion damage. This is the first character you're probably gonna get 2 billion damage with, unless you do Raven with something with Twin Blade before that. Enrage Pain, absolute garbage. Hush, garbage. I don't even know why they released this guy, man. Oh, no. Hold on. Is he still bugged? I don't know if he's still bugged, but if he's still bugged, I'm gonna give him C tier in case he's still bugged. But he used to be bugged in defensive League Invasion Outpost where he would just spam special one with no cost, and that was very annoying. I guess I can give him D tier. Let me know in the comments what the harsh situation is at the moment. Speed Force Flash, B tier, he does something, gives you some fast actions if you don't have it. You can also dodge specials if you swipe, which is something it's not really often used, but it's something. Silver Green Arrow is garbage. Silver Growth is garbage. Silver Green Lantern though. B tier. The thing is, you're also seeing Silver Green Lantern in every single Silver Outpost. But then you might ask, why is he not on the same tier with those guys? Well, because there's a little bit of a difference, why you see him in every single outpost, because he does give you a little bit of a shield, which is gonna survive like 3 hits, because it scales with base health. Thank God, not with total health in League Invasions, but you just don't have better options than that. You just don't. So he is going to be here, and also he can be convenient in fights where you don't want to combo interrupt. I've seen him used a lot with Manta, but you can also a nice trick. Okay, if you have enough passive stats and you can't combo interrupt with Batsman on the ground, you put this man in the team, and he gives you a shield that's hopefully gonna last until the end of the fight, and you just are unhittable until that breaks. Shazam. Gotta give him D tier, okay? It's convenient that he's with Orm here. So what does this character do? If you have Beta Club, he's and you use him with Raven, he's the same as Kinflan Sakoman plus Raven, though 10 times harder to get and 10 times more inconvenient to use. This was the worst legendary character ever released. I mean, not the worst. Also got the Suicide Squad. What do I do with the Suicide Squad, my dudes? I'm clueless about those guys, but yeah, he's bad. I mean, he's doing something that other characters already do, but worse, and he's harder to get than them. Silver Harley, garbage. Gold Shazam. D tier, he does something, I guess. Nah, let's give him C tier. I look at what's in C tier and I can't justify not giving Shazam C tier. Hold on a second. Yeah, there's not that much of a difference between those two tiers, so I'm gonna do this. We do this. Then we put all the characters that are in C tier over here. So then we got Constantine in the same tier as them. Yeah, we do this. Hold on. Stay with me here for a second, and now we go and delete row, and we call this D tier. Yeah, that looks a little bit better. I think that definitely looks a little bit better. Because it's very hard to differentiate between those characters and to justify putting some below, some above. Yeah, I'm more happy with this. Silver Robin, D tier. He does something, he builds combo. In theory, I think he can be, if you get lucky, the fastest character in the game at building combo, but nobody cares. Nobody needs that. Silver Scarecrow. Okay, we're gonna do something different here. Gonna drop this man too. There you go. There you go. S tier for attacking or defending silver outposts and league invasions, and the other guys are gonna be kind of standalone in those certain tiers. Same with Dr. Fate. Though keep in mind, I did keep in mind what Dr. Fate can do. Nah, bro. Nah, 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 nah. We leave it like this. Bro, this is so complicated to do for. This is so complicated. S tier for, okay, attacking. Let's just leave it like that, okay? I don't know if it makes any sense anymore, but let's just leave it like that. Like, Silver Scarecrow can be pretty annoying to play against in the defense of Silver Outpost, but it's not seen that often. Because he prevents tag-ins and he stuns you when you try to tag out. So Fate is garbage. The Suicide Squad. I'm gonna be honest with this one, guys. I'm just really gonna be honest with this one. I don't own a fully built Suicide Squad, but from what I've seen, which is nobody playing them, and what I've heard, they're pretty trash. Yeah, they're pretty garbage. But Sigvald Enchantress can remove hazards with her special. I don't care. I don't care. Uh, Emerald Green Lantern. Yeah, C tier is fine. He's like a worse version of Atrocitus. Justly Gakoman gives armor pierce to Justly characters. I guess that's fine. Multiverse Black Lightning does something, I guess. And can be seen in defensive outposts in League Invasions because of how annoying he is as generally as a character. I mean, when you have no restrictions, obviously you don't want to put this man there. But when it's like metahuman only, oh boy, he's got you. He's gonna annoy the crap out of your enemies. Silver Swamp Thing is garbage. Starfire. Again, with some specific requirements, you might see her in defensive teams just because she's annoying to play against. Sub-Zero kind of does something, not that surprisingly good. Another Black Canary, another D tier. Elder something. Can I put him at C tier? Like, what he does is he enables Constantine to not get hit when playing with Twin Blade Raven. And you're gonna use him every single time in that team. But if he didn't exist, that team would still exist and would still be good, and you would have to just combo interrupt. Silver Wonderman trash. Telekinetic Gorilla Grow trash. Reverse Flash has 3 fast tactics, so he builds combo a little bit faster. Also, he is able to steal power from the enemy or give the enemy power. He swaps power with the enemy, so if you're playing him in a bad way, he can actually do more harm than good. Unbreakable Cyber, garbage, 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 and Vixen. Where do we put Vixen? I don't know, man. Probably B tier too. pretty decent all-around support character, gives a little bit of attack if you got Puppet. If you have a Puppet team and you're like, I don't know what to put on this team, just put Vixen and don't question it. Do I feel like I should split the B tier now? Oh boy. No, we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Because there's too much trash in the B tier. Okay, so we go C, D, E again. And I'm gonna drop some stuff from here. Um, hmm. Again, with the classic team, I might be wrong about this. Yeah, that looks a little bit better, I think. But yeah, all that being said, thank you so much for watching. Like the reflect, disliked if you disliked it. I'm probably gonna get a lot of hate for this video because I'm so out of my field doing a tier list for all the characters. But again, if you're interested only in soul rates, just search for that tier list and pretend this one doesn't exist. Thank you so much for watching. Like if you liked it, dislike if you disliked it, and I'll see you on the next one. Goodbye.